to find out last year. It's crazy.
Yeah, that must be strange.
Yeah, but this guy, and there's another guy who also inspired me. His name was DJ Berry. He also died in 1992. He's actually one of the like the old school MCs that we used to have here. So when he found out that he had HIV, he went to, he started going to TV stations, like telling people that I have HIV, and then he started like rhyming about it, and also raising awareness. So these people inspired me a lot. And this is the guy who first rapped in Luganda in our local language. Because before that, everyone thought that you couldn't rap in Uganda.
We thought that everywhere, I think, until someone started doing it. Same in Denmark, same in Germany.
Yeah. And he wasn't actually so much into rap music. He only did one rap song, but he was the first one to do it in Uganda. Yeah, that was in 1989. Cool. Yeah. So he's one of my heroes. One of the people who actually, who taught me to be myself. Because you always have freedom at heart if you're yourself. I don't know what else I have here.
Filming.
Filming?
Yeah. You're the main speaker. Didn't I tell you?
I don't know if I still. Who gave you permission to film?
I did. Myself.
No permission in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to like Michael Jackson back in the day when we were still kids. That's another kind of
Thriller days.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It was a brief room, but this is where there's a strong history here. Because when we moved here, it was the four of us and we had nothing. No jobs, we weren't going to school, we had nothing. So if you wanted to eat, you had to find a way of eating. If you wanted to go to town, whatever you wanted to do. So we used to walk every day, we go to, because I remember at some point each one of us had to raise his school fees, money for school fees. So, and we didn't have any jobs. So we used to move from this place every day. You dress up in the school uniform knowing that you're definitely not going to school because you don't have the money. And then we used to sit outside the gate. In the evening you come back home.
From school.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then we had like a family. It became like a family of people who, because there were many people that were going through the same thing, people that never had school fees. And we also have a lot that actually decided to go into crime. Like doing drugs, selling this and that, stealing, robbing, just because they didn't really have hope. And there are also some of us who had hope, because I used to rhyme, I used to draw, I used to rhyme, I used to dance a bit. And it was winning me a lot of friends in the community, and people used to love the message in our music. So I always had hope, because I used to meet people and like, oh, I listened to your song, and it encouraged me to do this, and I'm like, oh, so I was encouraging people, and they also used to encourage me. Like every time they used to tell me that they picked something out of my music, and we used to hang with I remember there was a point when we used to hang in the ghettos and slums. Like this is very okay, but we'll take you to Kisenyi. It's crazy, we used to hang there because that's where we were accepted. Because a lot of people never wanted to hang with us because we had nothing. We had something, but they didn't see it because they only looked at the money and material things, so they thought we had nothing. But then in such areas, these people treasured us because we used to rhyme. We used to motivate them in different ways. So these are the people who showed us a lot of love. That's why people used to tell us, oh, you shouldn't hang with those people. They're bad. They're criminals. And then we said, okay, we're not going to hang with them. So we decided to hang with the nice people, and at the same time, they also don't want to hang with us because we're broke, But when you go back to the ghetto, everyone shows you love. So then I chose, then I realized that that's where, I can find comfort. But then I knew that I had to be myself. I don't have to do what they do just to be accepted.
Exactly.
So that's why today, when I go back there, it's a different thing. A lot of people go back up there, to educate people. But when you tell them, oh, you should, you don't rob, don't do this, don't do that. They're like, yeah, you've never lived this kind of life, so you don't know what you're talking about. And then you find people who live that kind of life and they're now reformed. Sometimes you go back and tell them, yeah, we also grow out of it. You also did it for some time and you left it, so we also did it. But when people like us, it's not only me, there are also other people like me. When we go, to teach, it's a different thing. They ask, how can you manage to live here without doing this and that? You know, because we used to hang there like every day and always show them that, you know, this is who I am and this is what I want to be. Because that's the biggest problem that we all face in this world, because a lot of people try to be somebody else to be accepted in the community. And, you know, I thank God that I've always been myself, like, all the time. For real, you know. That's why, you know, it's very, like, I feel so good every time I go back, you know, to all those places, because we used to go and rhyme, you know, free of charge. And I remember the first time we were paid to rap, each one of us was paid 1,000 shillings. You know, that's like half a dollar, kind of. And we were like, wow, man, this is nice. So we got hope. We were like, so that means we, you know, our rhymes are what, something, you know. But, you know, you could only eat food or something. But then, actually, we also used to survive, because I could survive on half a dollar for 3 or 4 days. Yeah, I used to. You know, you could go buy, like, you know, there's like water for 50 shillings. You know, it's not like mineral water. It's water that they put in like plastic bags. They boil it and put it in plastic bags, and then you can eat like maybe 3 or 2 donuts. And next day you don't have money, you go at the shop and ask them, you know, to give you on credit. And then tomorrow you come back, still don't have money, and then it was tricky. But once in a while, and then there was a time when each one of us got paid 1,500. We're like, whoo, this is a lot of money. And then 2,000, 3,000. You know. So it kept on building. It's the hope that we had, you know, because I was very proud of, you know, earning however little it was. To me, it was a lot because it was coming from my